This is the code organization activity in Java. I have a project open here that we can use to investigate these different concepts, and I've got the README file here for this particular activity. This activity is really about learning the different mechanisms for how to organize code rather than any kind of best practices. So we're really focused on the mechanisms themselves. Definitely take some time, do some research. If you haven't done that, go and do that now. But we'll dive into what these different mechanisms are, what the main mechanisms are for organizing code in Java. So let me open up a couple of files here. We can use these to talk through what our options are. So at the lowest level, we can organize code into functions. So functions, methods, procedures. We can use functions to move functionality into a single method, give that a name, and now we have an organizational technique. We can reuse functions, or we can simply let them be only called once, but that way we can group everything together under a name to make it make sense. Moving up from methods, we have types. In Java, there are 3 custom types that we can use. Class is certainly the most popular, but in addition to that, we can also create interfaces and we can create enum types. So those are the 3 different custom types that we can create inside Java. Classes will have methods and functions. Enums can have methods and functions. Interfaces will declare methods and functions, but they have to be implemented in either classes or enums. So those are the next level up is types. Moving up from types, we have packages. So in Java, the package line is always going to appear as the first line of the code. Sometimes there's comments before that, but it's generally the first line of code inside a Java file. So the package is basically a nested, think of it like a folder structure. They're containers, they're logical containers, kind of virtual folders, if you will. So in this particular case, the servlet initializer class exists in the com package .lucentaryacademy.mirror.api.mirror.api. So we have two packages of the same name. So what this basically means is there's a com package, and underneath that there's a Lucentary Academy package in com. And under that there's a Mirror API package in Lucentary Academy, and then again another Mirror API package in Mirror API package, which is nested down below. So servlet initializer, if you hover over it, you'll see the full package name prefixed in front of the type name. So that's a fully qualified name. The package name appears in front of the type because the type exists in that package. So packages are the next organizational level up. In addition to packages and types, we also have the files themselves. Files in Java end in a .java file extension. So in Java, it's not just a convention. We actually need to make sure there is one class, one main class or one main type inside a file, and that name, the name of the type, needs to match the file name. Java will actually give us an error if we don't do that. So files and types in Java are one-to-one in terms of the root level types. You can have nested types. That's a different thing. We're not going to get into that, but that's basically the rule of thumb there. So your file name and your type name need to match, and they need to be one-to-one. Moving up from files, we have projects as a whole. So this is a single project. This one happens to be a Maven project. But we can have a project that will take all of that code and compile it down, generally into a .jar file, which is a Java archive. There's also a way to compile files down into, or projects down into other file types, like a WAR, which is a web archive. You can actually even create an exe file out of them. But effectively, jar is the main file type. A jar file is the main output from a particular project. You can also have projects nested inside other projects. So you can have a parent project, which contains child projects. When that happens, generally your parent project is not going to have any code. The child projects will have code. Those will compile into jar files. The root or the parent package will generally not compile into any kind of jar file or any other file. It simply contains the other projects, so we can create the project dependencies and references between them. So that takes us through the code organization techniques in Java. So again, functions, methods, and procedures at the lowest level. Moving up from there, we've got types, classes, interfaces, and enums. Up from there, we have packages, then we have files, then we have projects, and we can even have parent projects.